Hi everyone, Lex Gray here. Let's do another Lex Talk episode. I found my old sports blazer, so here I am selling you some cryptocurrencies. Now, basically, today I want to discuss a topic that is always split with my audience, my very small audience of like 600 subscribers or so. But basically, it's about AI. This could be a turnoff for a lot of viewers, and I'm sure some of you are hopping off right now. As usual, this will be informal, not really scripted, but I really want to talk about this because I every other day it's like, can I use GPT or Gemini with custom instructions prompted to be the game master of whatever rule set I throw at it? And then there are the other days where I'm like, you know what? It should be no AI. I should be using oracles or just straight from here because when I think about using GPT for these videos, whether it's as simple as this image in the background to logos, graphics, and then as big as using it as a game master, it does take away from the potential creativity. That is a observation that a lot of you guys have pointed out. And it's true. It does. So let's talk about the bad. I want to talk about the bad first. Uh, First off, yes, it does take away from the creativity. I've noticed when I become reliant on using GPT as the game master in many of my earlier videos, after a string of those videos, let's say a month or so, I would try to go back to a traditional video, just tabletop or no AI, paper, pencil, stuff like that. I would have a lot more brain fog. It would be I would be slow to developing a plot twist or a character or context, a plot, a scene or a setting. The usual general um, instruments that you need to build a solo campaign, so a solo one shot. And then after taking a break from AI and just making videos a string of videos, a marathon of solo RPG episodes, whatever it may be, a campaign, for example, my actually, you know what? My my Escobar campaign is a perfect example of this. It started with AI. The game master was GPT, and then I soon took the wheel, and then I started building the document I called a master Google document that has all my details for the entire world. It's all in one document with all the columns and the pages and the subsections that I like to go through and navigate, switching to different locations and characters and stuff like that. And I haven't used GPT since the episode, I don't 12, 13, 14, around there, early teen numbers. So after that, and it's been going for 20, 30 plus episodes. I haven't done one in a little bit, but essentially the example here is that since not using GPT in this series, I've been able to come up with everything mostly on the spot. Albeit some examples or some oracles and methods, but like the oracle cards using Magic the Gathering cards as settings and locations and twists. There's been no AI use for the most part, besides again the map itself. Well, actually, I made the map in Arkenforge, I think. It's been a little bit, but yeah, everything essentially has been non-AI. Oh, well, besides the little character profile images in the Google Doc, that is directly created in the Google Doc itself. There's a image generator has built in. But for the most part, the story itself, it's all from here. So that's one negative. It's like you lose the creativity when you rely too much on AI. It's driving the car for you, you're just a passenger sitting there talking to it. And I noticed that when you would talk to, so GPT has the advanced voice feature, and if you talk to it, I become forgetful. I'll forget about stuff. I'll be like, wait, what am I talking about? How am I learning? I don't know. Like, I prefer to write things down. There's that, I don't know if it's urban legend or if it's actual fact, but like when you're in class and you're writing things down, you're remembering it better. And the whole visual learner and actual, like, or a reader, that's disputable in many. But I'm not here to discuss call it, educational practices. But basically, that does come down to AI. So if you're too heavily reliant on GPTs with advanced voice, which I do use and have used for my videos, um, eh, my mind becomes I don't know, a shell of its former self. I'm not trying to talk down about AI, but like I have noticed those patterns. Like I'll become forgetful. I won't be able to create or think of it like an oracle. Think of character names, plot twists, just a random thing for the solo RPG on the spot. I'll be slower to the punch, you know? So there's that problem. Secondly, there is a lot of negativity about AI because it takes jobs. It relies too much on power infrastructure, but I'm not here to talk about that. That's just some things I want to mention when it comes to general public observation. So that kind of bias when entering this strange niche of solo RPGs, which again is a very small community, but it's ever growing. People were like, wait, this guy's using AI to do solo RPG. Doesn't it defeat the purpose of solo RPG when you're using AI to tell the story? And I'm just a player. Essentially, it's just an RPG. That's another criticism that warrants a discussion. So basically, again, first, becoming too reliant on it. Second, personal bias. So for people who lose their job to AI, like graphic artists, graphic designers, typography, um, anything, any profession, they come across my video, which may be a very slim example, but it could be, I want to mention it because of, again, real world personal bias. Your hatred of AI is, and even if your job has never been affected by it, I'm sure mine will in the future, but like a data analyst or a number cruncher kind of jobs, desk jobs, if you lose your job because of AI and you come across my video or other videos of AI, it's just slop, then that personal bias becomes an automatic thumbs down. So that's another valid reason to distrust at first AI, especially a random guy like me on YouTube who's using it to make a video that's just for entertainment, where I don't really rely on anyone else but this tool. Then that's understandable. And I try to be in the middle with this. I do like using AI, but then there's part of me that appreciates the nostalgic factor of traditional D&D just as a category, traditional RPG, tabletop pen and paper, the book, the actual physical book and material, all it's all there. Like the whole world is right there for you, and there's no external factors. There's no other AI. It's a traditional, true to form solo RPG experience. There's no one else. It's just me and the paper and the camera and you guys watching at home. So that does, again, that criticism does make sense, and that's why I'm at this middle point, which does work out in the segue, where um, I need to I feel like I'm obligated to still use it from time to time for I don't know the actual percentage. There's really no way to track it, but for I'm assuming part of my audience that doesn't mind at all. Maybe they have some gripes with AI, or maybe they don't. And I've seen comments where people are like, I don't mind at all. Maybe I'm making too much of a big deal about it. I could be, but that's why I'm going to go from negatives to positives. So I feel that those are the two biggest negatives. There's probably a list more, probably a bunch more I missed, but I want to mention two and two. So again, two problems, two negatives about it. The middle point is like I have to appeal to both sides. This channel, and again, I've used AI since my first few videos, so it's really nothing new. This isn't like something I just switched to, and people are like, "Oh, what happened? Why'd you go to AI?" I've been using AI the entire time my channel has been in existence. So it's again, historically, it's not out of character for me to do so. Okay, let's go to a one positive. It is so fun. I really do. If the instructions are good on my part, if I do write the instructions well, then the GPT or Gemini, I usually use GPT, does work really well. Creatively, the engagement factor, the risk factor, following the rules for the most part debatable if the document's attached via PDF in its database. I use the project folder method. So if you're familiar with GPT in your account, there is projects. Those are folders, and they're isolated. They have grown. They've evolved in features. Now you can include an isolated memory bank that is strictly in that project folder. And you can attach a knowledge base within that. And you can also use the advanced voice mode. These are all the things I mentioned when I first heard about memory being introduced. And I think it was during projects was also being released or implemented. I don't recall, but I did make a video strictly about that. And that video, I think, did get some amount of views. But again, it is flippin' fun. I really enjoyed it. There are times it's not fun and it gets a little slow, but then you gotta give it a little gut punch and it springs back up. So that's why part of my first good reason is the cooperative experience. So This is kind of a fix for being too reliant on AI. So if you tell the instructions that the user will hack the story, it will become a cooperative experience. That's why I feel like it's good for rules light systems. I have a I have a liking for heavy crunchy games, but not all of them. I don't have a big collection of crunchy games. I don't have Rollmaster, for example, or Chartmaster, as people calls it, to really give you a defined a defined opinion about. Oh yeah, I'm really great at rules of heavy games. I'm not. I prefer rules like games on here on camera, but as far as reading the books, going through the books, trying it from time to time off camera, the crunchier systems is a far more rewarding experience, in my opinion. So I have GURPS. I'm still trying to grasp Palladium, Palladium, however you want to call it. I like to mention those three approaches, those three ways to pronounce it. But if you, again, put in the instructions or just tell it, then it should be a valuable experience. And I've had so much fun. I've seen the comments of both sides where it's like people hate it and people love it. There's really no in between. Well, sometimes there is, maybe like, again, I mentioned where people are like, I'm okay with this. I don't really see a problem with it, but not too much of it, which is understandable. That's why I don't try to use AI every single damn video. But again, number one is basically I enjoy it. It's fun. I'm lost. I'm lost in the fictional world. I'm lost in the experience. I'm having fun, whether it's text-based typing or it's through the voice, through Audible. It's audibly through its advanced voice mode feature. So that's the biggest reason why I like using AI. I say two was kind of the collaborative experience, but again, two now has to do with the advanced voice mode. So two should be something else far more equal in comparison, but the voice mode feature hits it out of the park. I haven't done it too much on here, and I probably should, but again, try not to put too much AI on here. But lately I haven't. It's been a war game. I've been on this war game frenzy, and that's just recently. I've been trying to switch back mentally and actually on camera to RPGs. But that's no bash at wargaming. I've really enjoyed the experience. I play it usually with a couple of friends of mine every Saturday at a local gaming store. So the advanced voice mode has made some great leaps in features and sustainability. The memory feature access it has now, and the fact you can use voice mode. It's the prior advanced voice mode is now the standard voice mode. They got rid of the old one where it waits for you, you talk, and it goes, thanks, and it talks, and then you can interrupt it, but it's not very fluent. It's not very realistic, you know what I say. Now the advanced voice mode is absolutely astonishing. It's absolutely incredible how far we've gotten, but to talk and to hear someone's voice on there is so much more engaging than text. I also still enjoy using text, but it's slower. I would read it off. A lot of my videos mostly was using text, obviously, back in the earlier days of AI, earlier days, like a couple years, like a year ago or so. But basically, using the voice mode, which I did a full test with I think I was using Call of Cthulhu system. That was an experiment. It was in a haunted hotel. The character was walking around exploring. And that was the first week or two, I think, when advanced voice mode was introduced, or at least made public. It was great. And up to now, I've used advanced voice mode, a handful of times a week, personally. So I arguably I think it works best now for the RPG experience. So that is, I think, number two, and I think it is. I hope it's worth as those two goods and two bads. So that is really that's my real combination. I'd say a list for you guys. So I didn't really expect to go further than this. Basically, two bads, a middle point, and two goods. I say if I were to mention anything more positive is with AI is that you can tune it to what you want, which you can also do by yourself without AI. You can decide on the setting, the atmosphere, the urgency, the risk, the game itself, the rules, the adventure, the characters around you, how involved everyone is around your character or not. And that's the same thing with AI. Again, as long as the instructions are strong and the foundation is set, GPT, mainly in my opinion, because that's mostly what I use here at home, can work well. So I want to reiterate a disclaimer. I'm not here to promote GPT or Gemini or Anthropic or Claude Anthropic or whatever other AI out there, DeepSeek, whatever it's called. I'm here just to say that as someone who was born a millennial, I went through the stages of technology in the 90s and the 2000s, and see now AI has taken leaps and bounds since 2019, since 2020, when we're all stuck in home and AI was becoming, hey, look at it, we try me out. So I'm on the older side of that generation. The younger generations grew up with AI. It's face front value. It's every day. Me, it's like kind of sort of using AI every day, not really relying on it heavily for like emergency or anything like that, but people are. And that's not really what my channel is about, but I want to mention it because that's the bias that's coming in. So people who grew up with AI, much younger than me, 20s or lower 30s, and come across my channel, they're probably used to it. They're like, oh, that's great. Or again, people who grew up with GPT, or I'm sorry, playing D&D or older RPGs back in the 80s and 90s, or I actually know a few coworkers of mine who grew up with the original AD&D and then the OD&D, AD&D 2E. They hate GPT, for example. They absolutely despise it. They love the traditional face-to-face tabletop experience, which again, I agree on. It's hard for me to choose a side because I think as a millennial, I don't know if it's really a generational thing, but I just want to mention that because I feel like it has an effect on it. It's not the end all be all reason why I am where I am with AI, well, with my opinion on AI. But like, I'm kind of accepting of where AI is going, but I'm also concerned. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I'll leave it at that. So before I go on any more tangents about AI and why it can be either the Terminator movie outcome or Utopia or Star Trek or something like that, I want to hear your guys' opinion. Please do. I've seen some very strong opinions for AI in past videos when I talk about this, and I've talked about AI many times before. It makes it go cross-eyed. But I also enjoy talking about it and talking about the divisiveness that comes with it because it is such a growing concept, and we've hit leaps and bounds with its its level of intelligence and reasoning factors that it can be a game master, and it was capable of being a game master in much earlier stages, like 3.5 or 3. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think, either about this video, the topic, what you want me to make in the future, and also let me know about this format. I'm wearing this suit here, like I just got out of a courtroom, and with the regular t-shirt on. I don't know, I just felt like wearing it. It's not too hot. It's cooling down weather, so it feels comfortable. Where I'm hoping not really sweating my camera, but like it feels comfortable wearing this now in this time of year. So it's November, or it's almost November, and happy Halloween to because I think that's in a couple of days. So that's it. Thank you very much, as always, for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.